Welcome everyone. This is Q&A with John. I'm John Gary. I'm so happy that you joined us here today. It is our third episode of Q&A with John, and we have a really packed show for you today. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. First, I'm going to recap what happened on John Gary TV this past week. We put up a bunch of new videos, and we also, besides that, we did some work on the website itself, so I want to talk about that. But first, before we get into all of that, I want to welcome our live viewers on both YouTube and on our live page on johngarytv.com. So if you have joined us live in Q&A, this is your opportunity to connect with me. I hope I get to connect with you. Say hi. Adam is standing by, and he will be monitoring questions as we go through the show. I'm trying to monitor them too, but I've got so much stuff in front of me that I probably won't see it if it pops up. But Adam will see it, and he will let me know. We have some questions and comments that we got after our last Q&A and since then that I want to cover. And we once again will have our special populations correspondent, Melanie Byford-Young, for the segment we call Questions I Want Someone Else to Answer, or something like that. Anyway, that's going to be later on in the show. She's going to be answering one of our viewers' comments. So say hi, check in, let us know you're here, ask a question if you want, make a comment or a suggestion, and we'll try to get to your questions during the show today. So as I said, I wanted to recap about what we put on John Gary TV this last week. And we have a couple really cool things. So on last Friday, our show was last Thursday, so the next day on Friday, we did our first workout from the Take It Off series, and that is called Take It Off 2017. I mentioned this last week. I announced that I'm going to be doing another men's physique competition in June of 2017, right here in the LA area, in Riverside, California, actually. And so last year I did the Road to Vegas. This year I'm doing a program called Take It Off in 2015. The whole meaning of that is I'm going to be walking on stage in a pair of board shorts, and I want to look good doing it. So I want to make sure that when I take off my shirt, I feel really comfortable, really proud of myself and what I've been able to accomplish. So hopefully by June I will be there. And I'm going to take you along the ride with me. One of the things I'm doing this year is I'm doing a brand new program, and it is a 5-day workout program. You'll be seeing me feature that in our series. That will be available to you on my website, and I'll also post some stuff on YouTube as well. But most of the content is going to go on our website. So last Friday, I put out day 1 of my 5-day workout program, and that was chest day. So check that out if you haven't already. If you want to do this workout program with me, the notes are in there, and I'll share with you my progress as well, and we can keep connected that way. Then on Monday, we released a new, Monday is Reformer Plus Day. We do a live Reformer show in the morning, and we released a new Reformer workout, and this one was called Introducing Advanced Exercises. So this was a workout, but it was about what exercises I recommend to add to a client's repertoire when you are starting to move them into an advanced level, when they are prepared and they're strong enough to. So you'll see some of the exercises have to do with people who are ready to add the flexibility challenge, the strength challenge, and the coordination challenge. I think it's a really great workout. I enjoy doing it as well as talking about it. So check that out. Remember, all of our workouts come with notes, so you can download those notes and you're ready to go. On Wednesday, we did a new mat, because Wednesdays we do live mat workouts at 7 a.m. on johngarytv.com on our live page. And then all of the workouts that we do go into our ever-growing library. And on Wednesday, I did a mat workout with Angela Miller. Shout out to one of our instructors at John Gary Fitness and Pilates. And she pretended to be brand new at Pilates. Actually, she was just awesome. But what I did was, the workout was taking a brand new client through a Pilates mat workout. So it's a really good way to know how I modify certain exercises, what I would include in a general person's workout, and how I go about just going through that workout. And one of the things that I talk about there, this is something that we're going to touch on later when I review our second book, but one of the things I talk about in that workout is that when you're training a client, especially a brand new client, or you're teaching a class for the first time, or you have new students coming in, you are as much teaching, and even more so than teaching, you are gaining information. You are learning from the people who are taking your class. You're learning how they move, what their typical posture is, what kind of cues do they respond to, how much body awareness they have, and more. And so I like to think of it as a really give and take, and that's how you develop a really good rapport with your client, because not only are they going to be able to understand what you're asking them to do, they're going to get the most out of that program, because it's that reciprocation going on, and they're going to make a lot of gains that way, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So try that, check out that video, and remember that when you're working not just with new clients, but with all clients, that it should be a two-way street. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is over the weekend I worked with our web designer, Chris, and what we did was revamp our welcome back page. So our John Gary TV subscribers now have a brand new page when they go to our site. And I'm super excited about this. I think it's much more intuitive, easier to use, and we're also showcasing some new things. So one of the things on there, if you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out. One of the things on there is a little bar about right underneath that main heading of all the new videos that are out. But there's 6 new programs. So we're now doing something called featured programs. And it's a work in progress. The whole thing is not live yet, but I'm going to give you the secret, since you're watching us today, of what you can do to see some of it. So the first thing is the ab series. I want to talk about that, because in the ab series, I put together 10 ab workouts that I think you're going to love. And if you click on the little box that says ab series, it will take you to that page. Even though it says coming soon, that page is live. We just finished it yesterday, actually. Adam and I did a video to explain it. But there are 10 workouts there, and they range from 8 minutes to 30 minutes in length. And they're really great workouts that include sometimes Pilates mat, sometimes Pilates equipment, sometimes they're fitness-based, sometimes it's a combination. But you can literally do a different ab workout every day for 10 days and then start to repeat them all over again. Those ab workouts can be added to your current program, or you can do them as standalone workouts. So I hope you'll check that out. And there's a lot of other programs on there as well. Our Take It Off program is going to be on there, and that's my own personal training program that you'll see with updates about how I'm doing, getting ready for the show I'm going to do in June. And then there's also a new segment. I'm going to be working on this over the next couple days to get this out, because we have a lot of content for it, and it's training new Pilates clients. This is a place where you can find out how we do our orientations for people who are going into group reformer classes at John Gary Fitness and Pilates. And I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts. I'm going to give you the business end, how we deal with a client when they first call, when they first come to we call it the front desk or reception desk, and then what workout we do with them, what we expect from our clients, what we want to give to our clients. So all of that will be in that new series, and it won't just be reformer work, it'll also be new clients for Matt. It'll be overall how to work with new clients, or how to progress clients, things like that. You're going to really get a lot out of that. The other one is the Ranch Mat series. So last year, I can't remember the month. It might have been in the fall. I don't even remember. But I taught in Rancho La Puerta, which is in Tecate, Mexico. Beautiful resort. And I got to go down there and stay there for a week, and I taught 2 classes every day, a level 1 class for 45 minutes, and then a level 2 class. And so one is beginner and one was more or less intermediate. And so what I did was record or take notes for all of the workouts I did, and then we put them on video. So those are available to you in that program as well, so you can check those out. They're all mat-based. Some of them have small props. Some of them are just body weight. So you can check that out as well. And finally, the repertoire. So I'm really happy to let you know that we have put together 2 other featured programs on there. One is the Mat series and one is the Reformer series. And they are all of our Go Deeper. So we have all of the mat exercises, Pilates mat exercises, and most of the Reformer exercises right now in that series. And we take each exercise separately and we do what's called Go Deeper. So you can check that out. It's a single exercise workshop. And we do everything from proper form and execution all the way down to programming tips. So make sure you check that out. Super happy that those things are done, and I think it's going to add a lot to your experience on John Gary TV. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get right to a question that we got last week. And so this is our series, questions I'm asking someone else to answer. So this is from my friend Mercedes in Spain, and I want to thank Mercedes. She's been such a great viewer and subscriber for us. She always has great comments, and I enjoy reading them and suggestions. And so I want to read the latest one, which I think is just great. So I've kind of paraphrased it a little bit, just so we can get to some main points. So here's Mercedes. I've really enjoyed your second episode, that was last week's. You give us lots of information. I've just discovered Melanie, and I've loved the way she explains about the pyramidal. And I'm not really sure what that means, but I love the way Melanie explains everything, so I get it. All right, I've been reading lately a lot about the abdominals. They say that performing ab exercises in just the supine position, such as when we do the hundreds or the ab series, we put a lot of pressure on the pelvic floor. All this information makes me wonder if we're doing it right. I'd like to know what you think about this. And what I think about this is what Melanie thinks about this. So let me finish with the comment. We think exactly alike. Okay, so let me read the rest of the comment. Your videos of you training at the gym are interesting, but I miss Fitness Friday videos. So I'm thinking interesting means not so great. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you think they're fantastic. I miss Fitness Fridays too. And I think what you mean by Fitness Fridays is us coming out with a workout that you can do in the studio without the big equipment. So here's what we're gonna do, because I think we should have those coming out as well. So Adam and I are going to, we have 4 more weeks left where we're putting out a new workout day for me for the Take It Off program. And so I think every other week we'll also include a Fitness Friday workout for you as well. So we'll add a little supplement in there. We weren't planning on doing that, but I hear you, Mercedes, and I'm glad you're watching and paying attention. So we're gonna put that out there just for you. All right, so yes, and they will come back right after we're done with that program. We'll have them out every week again. And then she says, I appreciate that you and your team are improving your site regularly. Thank you very much. It's a labor of love. We work long hours, but we love what we do, and I'm glad you like it. The John Gary Show is, as you always say, super fun, and I get lots of information. So if you haven't checked out the John Gary Show yet, please check it out. It is on our site, but it is available to everyone. Just go to johngarytv.com and click on the John Gary Show, and you can see episodes with some of the best presenters, fitness and Pilates presenters in the world. I've got so many really, really talented friends. I try to surround myself with as many positive and talented people as I can, hoping that some of it will rub off. Okay, so thank you for all your hard work and for being such an inspiration. The best from Spain, Mercedes. Thank you so much, Mercedes. Thanks for being a subscriber, and thank you for your comment. Keep them coming. All right, so I've talked about Fitness Fridays. Let's see. So we are now going to throw it to Melanie Byford-Young. Melanie Byford-Young is the co-owner of Pacific Northwest Pilates in Portland, Oregon. And she is our special populations correspondent, and she is going to answer the question and tell us all about the pelvic floor and more. Here's Melanie.
Hi, John. It's Melanie Byford-Young. Thanks for having me back again. Once again, one of your listeners has come up with a really great question and a very timely topic. And specifically, Mercedes from Spain is asking about pelvic floor health in response to abdominal work. And are we doing our clients a disservice by having so much emphasis on supine abdominal work as opposed to standing, sitting, and other positions. So this is a hot topic in the world of physical therapy, women's health, and definitely for all of our movement professionals. And it's really important that we do clarify the role of the pelvic floor and what we're supposed to be doing and not overdoing it. So as you know, the pelvic floor is made up of a series of small muscles that forms the bottom part of that inner canister and works with all of the other local stabilizers, the diaphragm, abdominals, the deep back muscles, including multifidus, as well as all the other stabilizers in the body. So the pelvic floor does do the two things. It's a local stabilizer getting you ready for movement of any part of the body, as well as a sphincter control for obvious reasons. So when we're looking at training the abdominals and the pelvic floor together, that we want to make sure we address all of the functions. The pelvic floor should be automatic. It should be a very low graded contraction in response to whatever's happening. So if there's a heavier bracing movement like in a plank or a pushing, it's got to work harder as compared to very softer movement, which is going to be more dynamic and small load. Whenever you overtrain in one way or the other, that's when you create problems. So knowing that the pelvic floor responds to everything we do, we need to be training it in its appropriate tension in every position. So some supine, some sitting, some standing. Weight transfer is a really important one. Arm work's very important, and perturbation. So in our Stop Pilates syllabus, we do the 100 in a lot of different positions. So supine, kneeling, standing, kneeling lunge, and that's important. So the 100 is all about perturbation and endurance. We don't want to get into heavy bracing of the abdominals or pelvic floor in that exercise. And that's, again, the idea of a plank. You want all of our muscles to work together efficiently in a plank position. You don't want to be over-cueing lift the pelvic floor. That's what happens when we get into problems. We definitely see that people who brace down with their external obliques or pull in all the time, that the pelvic floor doesn't know how to relax down. So it's always operating at a much too high of a level and it becomes rigid. And that actually creates stress incontinence. So for people who have been overdoing it too much, we need to let them learn to relax down and to put it back into the lower load and into that responsive and reflexive role that it's supposed to play. So doing some exercises in supine is not a problem, but doing all of your exercises in supine is a problem. Treating your abdominals only as heavy movers is also a problem. We know that they're designed to respond to leg motion and arm motions, as well as creating the twisting and the side bending motions. And moreover, they're supposed to be learning how to elongate when you're bending backwards or lifting your arms up overhead. So make sure you vary your programming. Make sure that it's not all higher and harder level exercises, that it is a variety coming from all planes of motion, and that, again, you don't over-cue lift your pelvic floor. It should happen automatically. So that cue is very appropriate if somebody isn't using it, but it's inappropriate over time. I hope that helps, and I do look forward to hearing your response. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Take care. Over and out. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Melanie. I totally agree. I do actually. I've watched that video a couple of times, and it's great information. So if you want to find out more about Melanie, we're going to put the link to where you can find Melanie in the description underneath the video, both on YouTube and also in the blog post that I send out about our Q&A episode 3. So check that out. I'll also put a link to the page where I interviewed Melanie on the John Gary Show. It's a great interview, really fun. I think you'll really learn to love her if you don't already. It's really easy to love her. And so check that out, and her bio's in there as well. She's super smart, and I'm really, really glad to have her as a friend and colleague. So thank you, Melanie. And we'll see you again next week. Now, if you've got another question that you want me to ask Melanie, please do that. So really anything injuries and special populations related, or anything that I just don't understand even what you're asking, I'm going to ask Melanie and see what she says. Okay. So now let's get to the next section. Today, I am reviewing my second book. So if you remember, 2 weeks ago, we did The One Thing, and that was one of my favorite books. And now I've got another one, and I know most people have heard of this book, but I really want to talk about it today because I think it's super timing wise. It's perfect because a lot of people just started to think about how they can improve themselves because we're starting a new year here. And so here we go, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And I will put the link on where you can get that book in the notes as well. And what I want to do is talk for a second, give a shout out to the Mentor Box people. This is where I get my books from. I subscribe to their, I guess you'd call it a book club. And once a month they send me 2 books. What I love about it is that you get the book itself. So if you want to read the whole, there's a lot of content in here. Really good stuff too. But they also send you a cheat sheet, which I love. So it gives you the meat and potatoes of what's in that book so that you can go through and kind of get the highlights of it. They also give you a workbook for that book, and this is a really good memorization tool. So when you do the workbook, it helps you to remember the content that you read, so you can also apply that content to your life, and it makes a huge difference. So I went through that this week, and I want to go over the highlights, obviously the 7 habits, with you, and just kind of highlight them briefly. So the first one I want to go through is, first of all, the whole book is about obviously how to be more effective, how to be more successful at what you do. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about business or personal life or working out or whatever it is. All of these habits are great for all of these things. So the first habit number 1, is be proactive. And it might seem obvious, but one of the things that I love about when you read really good books like this that really help you to become a better person, you notice a lot of overlap. And one of the between the books, and for me that's great because I need to hear things over and over and over again so that I can make it sink into my cement brain. But one of the things that this is about is choosing your attitude. And if you know the fish philosophy, which I'll talk about in a future show, one of the things that they talk about is choosing your attitude. So you cannot control the things all of the different things that happen in life. I mean, some things are under your control, of course, but most things are not. Things happen. It's life, right? So what we end up doing though is usually following through or responding a certain way to things that happen. And so what this book does is help you to shine a light on how you can respond better. And that's what this first one is about. So being proactive means think about the kinds of things that might come about, things that maybe often come up that either get you irritated or stop your progress or whatever it is. And then have a plan for how you react to that when it does happen. I think it's a super, probably the most important thing in all of the points is just to get that proactive thing going right away. So that's habit number 1, and I think it's super, super helpful. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. And what I love about this is in season 2 of the John Gary Show, we actually made our last question, what would you do, or what would you want to have your epitaph be? So that is, what do you want people to remember you by when you're gone? And that is really what this is about. So how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your life to be when it's over? And if you have that in mind as you're making your choices or as you're making your to-do list or success list, if you read the one thing, you're going to notice that you change how you behave. You change what's on that list when you think about what you want people to remember you by. So a super really great goal for me, if you relate it to business. So what do we want? We want the most number of people watching this so that we can spread the word. So if everything that I choose to put on my list of what I have to do in a day, if I look at that and say, which ones of these are the most important to do so that we can spread the word about John Gary TV and help people make their lives a little easier, getting programming tips and just a place for them to connect with another Pilates instructor or a fitness instructor, then that's going to be moving up the list, right? And the things like make the bed, which I have to do every day before I do anything else. If I've got a super busy day, then maybe that isn't going to happen until lunch. Okay, I'm still going to make the bed because I have to, but but maybe I won't that won't be the first thing that I do. Okay, so you're going to change that list around a little bit. Okay, so then next one, let's go to habit number 3, and habit number 3 is put first things first. And I just kind of talked about this. You make a list of things that you need to do. And in the main thing, they said, look at the most important things. What's going to get you to that main thing? That's your success list. So along with that, it's prioritizing your responsibilities. So they have some really cool ways to help you prioritize. So you look at the big list that you write, and maybe it's not big. My list is huge, usually, of what I need to get done in any given day. And so what you do is you prioritize it. So you put things first that are important and urgent. So you look at that list and you say, okay, this is important and urgent. Okay, so answering Mercedes back. That's important and urgent because I want to make sure that she knows that I hear her and that I'm going to respond, and we want to have that connection with our subscribers. That's really important to me, so I'm going to make sure she goes up to the top of the list. Then, the jobs that are important but not urgent. Checking Facebook, okay? So it's important because we connect with a lot of people on Facebook, but I can pick one time, I can do that at the end of the day, right? I don't have to do that throughout the day every 5 minutes. Check and see what's happening on Facebook. So I can schedule that a little bit later. I'm still gonna get there, but it might not be the first thing I do. Then important but not urgent, that's the one we just did. Not important and urgent. Okay, so that's going to be third down the list. And I can't really think of an example of that other than, having to pee. Okay, it's important, it's urgent, but it's not important. I mean, it kind of is important if you wait too long, but I can wait a little bit before I have to do that. I can get done what I have to get done, all right? And then number 4, sorry, it's just where my brain goes. And then number 4, don't waste time on things that are not important and not urgent. Put them down at the bottom of the list or take them off the list. It might be something that you can give to someone else to do. And I'm not saying throw things off on them, but maybe you already have someone who's responsible for that if you work with colleagues or whatever, and you just end up doing it because you're there and you do it or whatever, or you're procrastinating and you're like, well, I'll just do this for them, rather than doing your own thing. So think about stuff like that. Like, how can you make it more efficient? And then start at that top of the list and work your way down. Don't jump around that list once you have it done. Okay, habit number 4. I love this one. Think win-win. And this is something that when you're in business, actually, when you're alive, is something that you really need to think about all the time, and that is competition. So you want to think about ways to look at stuff that is win-win, and this has to do with choose your attitude as well. So don't take a scarcity view. This is really important in business, right? So there's a lot of really great examples out there, but say, for instance, John Gary Fitness and Pilates. Say that a gym opens up, a block away or a little while away. I can really, put myself in a position where I'm, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Pulling my hair out. I can't control that, right? So first of all, I need to choose how I react to that. Okay, there's another gym. What are the positive things with another gym opening close by? More visibility. There's going to be more of us in Long Beach. If they're good, it means there's going to be really good places to work out in Long Beach, and there's enough people to go around. There's a lot more people in Long Beach than there are places for them to work out. So that's the way that I choose to look at that. And I choose to look at, okay, they're there, I'm going to raise my game. So what do we do? Focus on what we do well and try to make that better. And focus in on that rather than focusing on what are they going to have, what are they going to do, what am I going to do about this, So think about that when you do that. And it's something that I need to remind myself about all the time. But another example I'll give is Pilates Anytime. I love Pilates Anytime, and a lot of people have said, Pilates Anytime, aren't they a competitor of yours? Well, no, because when I look at the clients who come and take classes at our studio, they don't take from just one instructor. They don't take just one format. Most of our clients take multiple formats, and they love it. It's that same thing. The cost of subscribing to either Pilates Anytime or us is less than the cost of one class. One class at a studio. So yes, you can buy 2 classes and get more. And also, I think that we also offer different things. I'm a little quirky. I like that about us. When you come to us, you get this personality. So you either like it or you don't. But I hope you like it, and I hope you keep coming to us. But that's one of the, Adam and I are both a little edgy. We both have a little bit of a quirkiness to us. So that's why you see dogs walking onto the set every once in a while. We don't take it out. We don't edit it out. I like that kind of stuff. It makes us, I think it makes us human. It makes us hopefully connect with you, and that's what we want our site to be. I taught on Pilates Anytime, and I plan on teaching there again because I love it there, and it's such a different experience, and it's so fun to go and see what they do, and I learn so much when I go there, and they are so giving and so wonderful. So yeah, it's not competition for me. I don't see it that way. I see it as a win-win. Okay, so that's that. Next, habit number 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So I actually talked about this earlier today when I gave an example of it when I was talking about the teaching Pilates mat to beginners. So when that student comes in order for you to be the best teacher, you need to listen to what they have to say. And listen doesn't just mean them talking, it means watching them move, it means watching how their body moves, watching their posture, understanding their body awareness, the biomechanics of what's going on, and their goals. So all of those things, the more you understand them, the better you're going to be as an instructor. So to me, in order to be a really good leader, you have to listen first before you're listened to. So that's that one. Okay, so next one. Habit number 6, synergize. And I kind of touched on this when I was talking about Pilates Anytime, how, working together makes you stronger. So it's that whole thing of the strength of 2 things together is much greater than the summation of their separate power. So it means virtually 1 + 1 is going to equal 3. It's not going to equal 2. So you add those things together, and instead of getting 2 things, because they're working together so well, you get so much more. And this is about, to me, really surrounding yourself with the best people. I love to hire instructors that are better than me. I love to hire front desk people who are more organized than I am. I love to hire people who work with me here on John Gary TV, Adam, who's smarter than I am, can write better than I am, is funnier than I am, can do a million things and just have the best attitude ever. And so I think that's that whole synergy thing. Now, I'm hoping that I give something back to these people. I do my best to do that, but I really feed off of that really positive energy, and I think it's super, super important. All right? All right, and habit number 7, sharpen the saw. So what I want to say is that if you are watching this, if you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel or John Gary TV, you're already doing this. You're honing your skills. You're doing things to help you better. And the whole thing about sharpening the saw is, the story is there's a guy that's trying to cut down a tree, and he's sawing and sawing and sawing, and his neighbor's watching him, and finally his neighbor goes over and goes, "Why don't you sharpen that saw? You'd be able to cut down that tree a lot faster." And he said, "Well, sharpening the saw takes time." So, it seems like a simple thing, but really, that's, and if you think about a lot of things in your life, you do that without knowing it. So make sure that you're kind of examining yourself and how you do things, and that will help you. Stay educated and stay on top of your game. The more you learn, the better you are at your skill, the more you're going to attract that to you. So that is my take on the 7 habits of highly effective people. I hope that you got a lot out of it. Like I said, I'm going to put the link in where you can get that book. It's got tons more stuff in it than what I was able to talk about today. And so that's it for that. Now, we've got one more comment. Alessandro, I think you're watching, or you were a little while ago, and you had a question last week. I'm going to paraphrase it here. And Alessandro, I think, is in Germany. And he said, do you ever struggle sticking to a diet? And the answer is no. I am absolutely perfect when it comes to my diet. You can ask Adam. Never, ever, ever, it just doesn't happen. Adam's over there trying not to say anything. Yeah, I think everybody does. Well, I don't know if everybody does, but I definitely struggle with sticking to a diet. Not at, I get up really, really early, ridiculously early, like 3:30 a.m. And so I don't struggle with my diet then, I don't struggle with it at lunch, and I don't really even struggle with it all the way up until 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., I struggle with my diet. So if I don't have something planned out, it's that whole first habit thing that we talked about. What was the name of it again? It was, oh my gosh, Adam. No, the very first habit was be proactive. So how do I be proactive? I prepare the meal ahead of time. So it's there, and I say to myself, I'm going to eat this, and then and I'm going to wait about 20 minutes, and then if I still want to be bad, I can be bad. So that is when I'm proactive. When I'm not proactive, hello pizza. That is my downfall right there. I love me some cheese and bread. And, and pretty much any way that it's served up. So it doesn't have to be pizza. It can be anything that has some sort of wheat product with it and some sort of cheese product with it. So proactive is the way I need to be for the next 6 months so that I can be successful in my goal. And I'm going to put that right at the top of the list. So that is our show for this week. Adam, do we have anything that I need to answer, or are we good? We're good? Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys. And please, once you watch this, if you've got questions or comments, let us know, because I would love to hear from you, and I would love to address them next week or give them to Melanie. So that's our show for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye, everybody.